Foundation. Siyathemba nizolijabulela lolu hlelo.
Sanibonani grade 12. Igama Mr. Mthembu, ithutha yini geography. So as you can see lapha mkwami ngine subtropical cyclone. So subtropical cyclone sibheke nje ukuthi imaphi lama high pressure systems esinawo in South Africa that forms part of a subtropical cyclone. Okay. Awu 3 grade 12 ama subtropical cyclone ethu esinawo ngizowabhala nje la. Sine Kalahari, high pressure, right. Then sibuye sibe ne South Atlantic, high pressure, and then yokugcina ke sine South Indian, high pressure. Okay, grade 12, you may have come across with all of these subtropical cyclones esengwafake lana, and you are familiar with them. So these are most of the time presented kuwena uma benza into esibiza ngokuthi i-synoptic weather map, which sizokhuluma nje ngayo lana futhi. And then sizobheka futhi sibheke izinto ezinjenge moisture front. And then siphinde sibheke izinto ezinjenge line thunderstorm. Yabo grade 12 uma umasterishe lezi zinto lezi esengibalile lana phansi, wena kwi-synoptic weather map yakho ngeke uze ube nankinga, kuma subtropical cyclones akho ngeke uze ube nankinga. So kuzomela ukuthi uyazi i-high pressure ngawani ukuthi where exactly do we find these pressures in South Africa. Ngizokudwebela nje grade 12 imap yase South Africa roughly. Okay. This is a South African map. Okay, right. Now, with a South African map, you will notice grade 12 ukuthi nginama side amathathu. Now, side number 1, number A1, ngine South Atlantic, high pressure. Then lapha sinendawo ngine Kalahari, high pressure. And then bese uthi lapha egcineni ngine South Indian, high pressure. So lama high pressure grade 12, as I've said, abalekile ngale ndlela, and uma uwabhekisisile grade 12 lana indlela engwafake ngayo ngwafake ahamba kuline owodwa. So lo line lona ubalekile even nawo nje uwodwa ke ukuthi usuke how many degrees ngizodweba nje lo line wami usuke 25 degrees line of latitude. Remember grade 12 ukuthi what do we mean about line of latitudes? Lines of latitude, these are lines or are imaginary lines that circles the globe from west to east. The reason why we call them, we say these are imaginary lines, is because we cannot see them. So imagine, yabo. So akekho umuntu ongangitshela manje ukuthi use wayibona line of latitude. Okay, so you can see them, you can see these high pressure systems or cells ukuthi amendaweni eyodwa wonke kulayini. Le ela ezansi noma le la ka left wami eqhamuke ezansi nale eka right iqhamuka ezansi ngaphandle kwale leya eqhamuka phezulu. So which means le icishe ihambisane ne-ITCZ ihamba ne-apparent migration of the sun ukushisa. So which means ngesizini nesizini azomuva lama high pressure cell wami le ngesama izoshona phansi, le ngewinter o ngesama izoshona phezulu, le ngewinter izoshona phansi. Okay, sizokubona njengamanje lokho ke grade 12. Right. Ake sidile nalena ke manje sesidwebile, sike sizama ukukhumbuzana ke ukuthi konje ama pressure systems ethu uma eme kanje asuke representa yipi I season. Asuke representa I winter season. So it's winter season. Why do we say it's winter season? It's because all these high pressures asenomhlangano la wonke asehlangene along this line here of latitude 25 degrees. Now asibe ne situation ke manje grade 12 yasesummer. What happens here manje kwi summer? Ngizoyidweba futhi South Africa. Ngizoyidweba nansi map of South Africa. Okay. Oh. Ngodwebe nje la. Ungixolele ngale. So ayikho la. Right. Now grade 12 right here buka lana ke sekwenzakaleni. I have iKalahari high pressure there phezulu. I have a South Atlantic high pressure la. I have the South Indian high pressure. Can you see the position here manje grade 12? Ngithe ngicela ungakunaki lokho grade 12. Lo kade lapha yani, lo kade la, nalo kade la. Bonke bebehamba kuline ewodwa. But now sebehamba kuma different lines here manje grade 12. What does it mean? It means ukuthi the conditions here, these are here now. Within the interior of the country, they are warm. So the country is dominated by what you call a low pressure now. So ngizokutshela nje in a short while ukuthi what types of low pressures do we find la kule map during this season. And then kuzomela ukuthi siqambe ke futhi le season ukuthi konje iyini. So this season, our season here, that is represented by the position of these high pressures. They mean ukuthi it's winter season. I think it makes sense grade 12 manje. It makes sense. Into engishilo mina ngithe lo ubela nalo ubela nalo ubela. Bonke bebeqonda neline owodwa, but lo has decided to move up, to shift up, and then these two here has decided to go down. I hope kuyayenza sense lokho grade 12. And then mase sibuyele nje kwi-situations yase winter, you will remember yelana ukuthi all these high pressures were in line. All of them, they were in line. Alright, alidluleke lapho grade 12. Ake sithathe ke manje iSouth Africa siyidwebe according to i-cross section. ISouth Africa icishe ime kanje. Right. And then la ngizodweba nje kanje umugqa wami. Kumugqa wami uhamba lapha yana grade 12. And you can see now ukuthi iSouth Africa yami mase ngiyibuka esayidini lami, this is the ocean. It's a cold ocean kahle kahle. It's a cold ocean current, and then this is the warm ocean Indian Ocean, right? So what happens like grade 12 is I have what you call an inversion layer. Now it's inversion layer. The inversion layer, you may notice due to the subsidence of the Kalahari high pressure, it has now been forced down, so which means it has been exerted. So Kalahari high pressure ipusha inversion layer ipushela phansi, and uma ipushela phansi ke kwenzakalani grade 12, umoya o moist obusuka lapha yana, obusuka lapha kwi warm ocean current awusakwazi ukweqa uze ngale kwi interior of the country, awusakwazi ukufika lapha yana ko Johannesburg, awusakwazi ukufika ko Bloemfontein. Instead usugcina la eDBN and all other coastal areas ezingalaka east. So what happens ke grade 12 uma lo moya wethu ugcina lapha yana ke ugcina nje la, kuzoba ne cloud formation. Awuthi ngi-explain ukuthi izokwenzakala kanjani i-cloud formation. Grade 12 i-inversion layer la iyini lento, ibhande leli ibhande elivimbela ukuthi lo moya oshisayo from the warm ocean current escape into the coastal regions, so that they will actually experience a rainfall or condensation and rainfall and all that. So now if ubheka ke masuyicabangela nje ukuthi why is this the case, it's simple. Ngizobuyisela futhi lana ke grade 12 ngithe mina during winter season what happens, iKalahari high pressure will come down here. Once it has came down here, once it has come down here, it will exert pressure ke manje downwards kanje, izoyicindezela nansi subsidence, kuzoba ne strong subsidence of air right here. So there will be a strong subsidence of cold air. Upushela lapha yana ezansi ke, then bese kuba nale layer ke le ezovimbela ke manje lo moya oshisayo from the warm ocean current into the interior of the country. Sasingaconclude ke manje grade 12 ukuthi yipi le season le okwenzakala yonke lento ke manje where inversion layer is below escarpment. Sasingaconclude sithi yipi season, it's winter season. So sizoyibonela ke manje nawe grade 12 futhi okay, during winter since we have cold and dry conditions, the cold air is dense. So if it's dense, it pushes down this cold air into the bottom of lento lena eSouth Africa and prevents ivimbele umoya moist from penetrating or ungena into the country and uforme ama clouds. I think ikayenza lento essence lokho metric. I think ikayenza akedlule grade 12 siyobuka futhi enye scenario yawo lama high pressure systems. And then again ngisazodweba futhi I cross profile yase South Africa ke manje. As a cross profile inland places, then bese kuba the eastern parts of the country. So you have a warm ocean here, you have a cold ocean. Remember, cold ocean, it lacks moisture, so there's no moisture there. Right, now what happens again manje during summer? The inversion layer would be lifted up, so which means it goes up. Remember, it moves north. What does it do as it moves north here manje? Remember grade 12, la you have coastal places, coastal regions. Johannesburg or Bloemfontein and all that. So you will notice here manje a metric ukuthi because of the upliftment of this Kalahari land, high pressure ehamba ne inversion layer angithi manje isimuvile Kalahari high pressure, so it allows also inversion layer. Nansi inversion layer, it allows inversion layer to go up. As it allows inversion layer, what happens here manje to the warm moist air that was blocked ekuqaleni by inversion layer? This will be allowed now to go into the interior of the country. Then bese kuba nani ke manje cloud formation. So sizoba nama clouds here manje all over Johannesburg, Bloemfontein places, and then bese siba ne precipitation. I think ikayenza isense leyo nto grade 12. Mase just highlight kancane. Ngithe mina during summer, this is summer season. During summer, the inversion layer is lifted iba phezulu because iKalahari is no longer, there is a weak subsidence now. It's no longer exerting the pressure down here. It will be lifted. The moment it has been lifted, what happens here manje? Lo moya osuka la kwi warm ocean current usuyakwazi manje uweqa ke manje weqa escarpment uyongena ngale in the interior of the country, and then uzokwakha ama clouds. So you may find ama cloud, different types of clouds like ama cumulus, nama cumulonimbus, or cirrus, or any type of clouds, because now there is a formation, there is a condensation now that is taking place, and then lastly you will have what you call a precipitation here. So I think that is making sense, grade 12. All right, let us look now at another thing which is called a moisture front. The moisture front. Ngisazodweba futhi nala iSouth Africa ke grade 12. So here is your South Africa. Okay. The moisture front ke is just nje ibhande elisuke lilapha phakathi nendawo that separates cold air or a mass of cold air from a mass of warm air. So leli bhande lisuke lime kanje. So it separates umoya osuke uqhamuka from different directions. Remember, this is east, this is west, and always here we have warm ocean, and then always here we have cold ocean. Right, laba bahlangana khona ke grade 12, laba bahlangana khona nje laba bobabili bahlangana kwi moisture front. So that is why we say mabehlangana lapha na kwi moisture front, obviously one has to go up, one has to go down. So ubani ozonyuka lana, ubani ozokwehla lana. So ngicabanga mhlambe kumele siqale siqambe eqala lento ukuthi this is a moisture front. So that's sonke sizoba ndawonye. So this one here, this air here will go up. So which means warm air goes up, or it will be lifted. And then what about the cold air? The cold air will subside. What is to subside? Weather. The question here, manje, exam, why cold air subsides? It's because it's dense. Umoya obandayo uyasinda, so it's dense. And then umoya oshisayo, it's less dense one. So isindo sakhona sincane kakhulu. Now question is manje, la abahlangana khona ke lo moya oshisayo nomoya obandayo, what do we call this area here? We call it a moisture front. So a moisture front ke yona ke inani inama trough of low pressure. So which means kunama low pressure ahambe ebala. Nanka ama low pressure systems lapha yana ke. And one of the trough of low pressure there, we call it a thermal low. So it's a thermal low. Right. Okay, now a thermal low is one, it forms parts of lama trough lawa alapana along the moisture front. Kumbula ye grade 12 ukuthi along this line here, which is called the moisture front, kune friction that is taking place. So since in the friction, umoya obandayo will go down, umoya oshisayo will be lifted. The moment it's lifted, what happens? There will be cloud formation. What types of clouds are forming land? Solar cumulonimbus clouds. Cumulonimbus clouds that will be formed here along this moisture front. Ngicela singalenzi nje iphutha grade 12 siphambanise ke lento. Okay, now la, since there has been a condition in upliftment of warm air, since there has been now a formation of clouds, lizoduma, linethe and all that. Bese siyibiza ngani ke le ndawo le? Hayi lo line grade 12. Siyibiza ngani le ndawo le? That is along the moisture front. Siyibiza nge-line thunderstorm. So this is the line thunderstorm. It's line thunderstorm. Why do we call it a line thunderstorm? It's because ilapha phela okuba ne-condensation khona. Into yokuqala before condensation kube ne-friction between cold air and warm air. And then since cold air is dense, it was forced to undercut the warm air and forcing it to rise up. As it rises up, clouds, cumulonimbus clouds will develop. So as clouds as ilent storms develop, obviously there will be thunder, obviously there will be lightning. Okay, I think it makes sense. Grade 12. Examiner will ask you manje, what happens with along the line thunderstorm? What happens along the line thunderstorm? Asibhale le line thunderstorm. Here's here. Thunderstorm. What happens here? Obviously, it will be thundering, ne? Thundering. There will be big thunderstorms. And then secondly, there will be lightning. Alright. Oh yeah, and also heavy rain fall. Having this in mind here, grade 12, you need to think manje, what damage does all these three here do? Ngoba examiner will ask you about the damages that is caused by these three. So a question will be here now. The examiner will ask you, what will happen to those residents that live along the moisture front or along the line thunderstorm? What will happen to them? Ungabisacabanga nje kakhulu grade 12 vele ucabange nje ngama damages enziwa izulu. Uyalazi nanawe izulu ukuthi uyibuka indaba mhlawumbe ivinanga kini baye report ukuthi mhlawumbe umuntu selimele ulinyazwe izulu, indli ishile ishiswe izulu, mhlawumbe even the livestock nayo inkomo mhlawumbe zilimele ilinyazwa izulu. So i-examiner ke isuke ibheke lezo zinto ke ukuthi imaphi ama damages that are caused by line thunderstorms along here. So let us look at the damages that are caused by line thunderstorm. Damages that are caused by line thunderstorm. Okay. Right, number one, damage number one. People here may die. People may die. That is the damage number one. Istorm, lightning nje esabisela nje. Iyodwa nje, ile good. And then the damage number two, houses may be burnt. Damage number three, livestock may also die. I think it makes sense ke lonto grade 12. So bazokubuza nje ngama impacts of line thunderstorms. Yabo. With what damage does it do to the residents, to people who live around the area? Okay, and then bese bebuza ke ngama positives ke ngoba phela hayi ukuthi yonke into ihlezi ine negative factors. So bengakubuza mhlawumbe ngama positive factors ukuthi what positive factors. Let us look at the positive factors of line thunderstorm. Okay, uma kubheka ama factors ke grade 12 of line thunderstorm akubhekwa kuphela ukuduma kwezulu nkosi yami kubhekwa and akubhekwa even the lightning only. But siyazi ukuthi magnetha maliduma kuzonetha kahle kahle yabo. there are big possibilities of rainfall. So yama positives lana that you can actually write uma mhlambe i-question iphumile mhlambe yathi what positive will i-line thunderstorm have kwi-farming of this area. So you will say there will be water availability for mhlambe for domestic use, for thina ukuthi siwashe impahla, siwashe nezimoto, siwashe na yonke into esilento siwashaye emakhaya. And then another thing is there will be more water for irrigation. There will be more water for irrigation. So if there is more water for irrigation, remember there's khulume ngama farmers lana yabo le nto. If there is more water for irrigation, obviously this would lead to high production. Ama farmers will actually produce more, and then if they produce more, there will be more profits to them. Alright, so ziyalandelana ke lezi zinto ke grade 12. You may include even employment in the farming industry. Yabo ngoba ama benefits, ama positives lawa, ama positive factors of i-line thunderstorm. Njoba nje sengishilo nje iqaleni ngathi asibheke ukuthi i-line thunderstorm iletha ukuduma kwezulu kuphela ne lightning kuphela. Okay, ngicabanga mhlambe kuyayenza sense lokho grade 12. Mhlambe mase siqhubeke mhlambe senze another topic which is called the back wind. Ama back winds, they also form parts of back winds. Ama back winds, they form parts of wona lama lento lena ama subtropical cyclones, because we're looking at it at a small scale. So ama back winds wona, these are hot and dry winds that blows down the mountain. Okay, so we're looking at hot and dry winds that blows down the mountain, and then we need to know when exactly back winds are found in which season. Back winds occur in winter season. Okay, I think it would be wise for us to draw ama back winds ukuthi i-movement yakhona ihamba kanjani. You will remember here the reason why we have hot and dry winds during winter season is because of the Kalahari high pressure pushing this air from the plateau into the coastal regions. Yabo, and then the temperature yakhona igcine isenyukile. Let us look at these back winds in terms of the diagram. Nanku lo moya ke uyehla ushona lezantsi. All right, the temperature there from the plateau is as low as 14 degrees, but uma isinyuka ifika lapha phezulu, you may find ukuthi the temperature has actually decreased. But mayesi iyehla ngalena ke manje isiyaqala ke manje temperature ke isiyanyuka, yabo. isiyanyuka ize ifike mhlambe ko 28 degrees yabo. So ama back winds kahle kahle, these are hot and dry winds that blows down the mountain yabo. So this is the coastal area. It's the coastal area. And enzakala ke phi ama back winds enzakala la ku eastern parts of the country. We once had one, I think we had ama back winds this year, whereby we had like umoya ushisayo yabo. So we couldn't breathe properly, asikwazanga ukuphefumula kahle. So abantu abebe nenkinga nje zokuphefumula basafarishile a lot yabo. Okay, so these are back winds here. So as they descend here, remember grade 12 futhi, as they descend they are getting heated for every 100 meters they go down. So they are getting heated diabatically yabo, as they go down for every 100 meters. So the examiner nje can play around with you and ask you about at how many percentage, at how many degrees does umoya getting heated for every 100 meters. So we're looking at 1 degree. So we will erase off adiabatic. So the adiabatic lapse rates kahle. So a 1 degree for every 100 meters. Okay, now let us look at the negatives. Let us look at the impact of back winds. Impact of back winds in general. Into yokuqala nje, ama back winds will cause what you call ama-field fires. Ngoba phela lo moya lona uyashisa as it goes down the mountain. It's caused field fires, umlilo nje ongalawuleki. Siye saba nayo nje le moya le in the couple of years, whereby umlilo nje awulawuleki mase kufike ama back winds, sesidinga mhlaba ama firefighters from different areas to come and fight this fire. Okay, and another impact of my back winds will be, since there is fire, livestock, noma even ecosystem will be affected. Okay. How about those people who live in the area ke manje? People will suffer from respiratory problems. Let's say mhlambe une sinus nje kanje, it's even worse for wena you une sinus mase kufike these types of winds. These types of winds are similar to ama phone winds ka grade 11. So at grade 11 you've learned about ama phone winds ukuthi these are hot dry winds that moves down the mountain, but enzakala le ku north le kuma apes, entabeni ebizwa kuthiwa ama apes. So thina ke lucky enough to experience this in South Africa because it's okay as nje la in our coastal regions. It's okay as here in our coastal regions. All right. Now that we have seen the impact here, what can we do to mitigate this? Let us look at measures that can be used to overcome the impacts of back winds. what can we do now to overcome? What measures can we put in place to overcome the impacts of back-winds? One of the measures that we need to take into account, we must have fire fighters on standby. So nje firefighters mele ebe on standby benze sure ukuthi bana yonke i-equipment abayidingayo so that uma lemlilo yequbula ama-field fires esefikile bengezokuba neyinkinga in terms of calming these fires or putting these fires off. So now another measure that one can put, you can put lookout towers. Lookout towers, lama towers lawa esiwasebenzisayo ke manje umonitor ke manje ukuthi how far the fire has gone yabo and all that. So we need to do that, as well as if usuwazi ukuthi there are back winds coming in, especially uma ugula, rather collect as many medication as possible. Wa collect nje ebelana so that you don't go out and being affected by these fires. So nje maningi amalento points that you can put la in order to actually come up with strategies to minimize or to mitigate the impacts of these types of winds. I think I've covered it all. And then if ngibuyela nje la with diagram yami yasiqaleni, back winds, they occur right here along the coastal region of the country. And sizokhumbula ke ukuthi there is another coastal low which is found right here. A coastal low is found right here, and it's the movement of the air within this coastal low is driven by one of these high pressure cells because of its anti-clockwise movement. So we have what you call a coastal low right here, and then it comes from a coastal low here. So it comes from west to east. I think it makes sense. So within my diagram, within my map here, I have summed up everything that is necessary for wena ukuthi ubhale i-exam yakho, i-final exam yakho grade 12. So it includes everything: the line thunderstorms, the moisture front. Ungaphambanisi grade 12 uma bese i-line thunderstorm noma what do we call the line where there is the convergence of warm air together with the cold air, and then bese uthi wena i-line thunderstorm. No, it's not a line thunderstorm, but it's called a moisture front. Then they go on to ask you ukuthi where does i-line thunderstorm develops? It develops kephi manje la along the moisture front. And what do we call these low pressure systems that goes along la moisture front? We call them trough. We call them trough of low pressure. I think summarize yonke into yamanje grade 12 about subtropical cyclone. I think kuzomela ukuthi ngiyibambe lapho ke manje, ngiyibambe lapho for i-lesson yami yanamhlanje grade 12. So sisibonane nje ngokuzayo, sizokwenza i-revision thorough yes syllabus yonke ya grade 12. Use what you have for now. Use the knowledge that you have. Whenever you think out of the box. Ungayilimit grade 12. I-geography into engiyithanda ngayo ukuthi nanoma yini eyenzakalayo ka-geography yinto esuke iyenzakala around you. So be vigilant. Vula amehlo nje ubheke ukuthi what is happening around you, and then that will benefit you uma usubhala i-exam and masubhala futhi exam yakho, think of i-local context yakho nje. Bheka isikole sakho, bheka indawo ohlala ngakuyona, bheka i-province ohlala kuyona, i-country ohlala kuyona, i-weather on TV, ukuthi yiziphi izinto abayireports and all that. Ngicela ukukushare lapho grade 12 with this information that I've been giving you. Nisale kahle, ngiyabonga.
Ningakhohlwa ukuthi nisengathokozela ezinye izifundo eziyisithupha kanye nezengeziwe i-learner wellness, i-career guidance kanye ne-advanced program. Hlanganyela nathi kwizifundo ezi-online ku-068 151 1072 noma ku-GoDigi@godigitalsa.today. Siyabonga.